I believed our love was limitless, the kind of devotion that could conquer every obstacle. He painted dreams of a shared life, promising me the world, every sunrise and starry night reserved for us alone. Then one day, while I was arranging our future plans and organizing our home, I stumbled upon a reservation confirmation tucked away in a drawer, a confirmation for a luxurious getaway meant for someone else. In that electrifying, shattering moment, every promise he made splintered into shards of betrayal, and the world he had promised me revealed itself to be nothing more than an illusion built on secrets. I still remember the early days of our love, when every conversation with him felt like a secret universe unfolding. We met on a crisp autumn day at a mutual friend's gathering, where the scent of freshly brewed coffee mingled with laughter, and his warm smile captured my heart instantly. His eyes sparkled with the promise of endless adventures, and as we talked, I felt as though I were the only person in the room. We spent hours discussing our dreams, from small shared moments like watching sunsets together to grand plans of traveling the world side by side. Every word he whispered made me believe that our future was limitless, that he would give me not just his time, but his entire heart, reserved solely for me. As our relationship blossomed, we began to build a life together, one filled with shared routines and carefully planned future milestones. We moved into a charming little house in a quiet neighborhood, decorated with mementos of our early love, photos capturing our first smiles, handwritten notes tucked away in drawers, and a wall filled with paintings of sunsets and stars. We made plans for vacations, for quiet evenings in our cozy living room, and for a future that I believed would be as bright and boundless as the promises he made. I trusted him completely. His declarations of undying love and his assurances that I was his one and only became the bedrock of my happiness. But as time passed, I began to notice subtle changes in him, small discrepancies that, at first, I rationalized away as the natural ebb and flow of daily life. He started coming home a little later, his excuses always revolving around work and responsibilities. There were moments when I would catch him glancing at his phone with a distracted look, or when he would quickly hide his screen as I walked into the room. I tried to tell myself that everyone needed a little space and that the stress of his job was the only explanation. I clung to his loving words and the images of the future he had painted for us, unwilling to believe that there could be any darkness behind his promises. One ordinary afternoon, while I was sorting through some old documents to help organize our home office, a space that we had designed together as a symbol of our shared dreams, I found something unexpected. Hidden among receipts and old letters was a printed email confirmation for a luxury suite at a high-end hotel, dated for an upcoming weekend. The subject line was innocuous, something like reservation confirmed, but the details were unmistakable. A reservation that I had never heard him mention, a weekend getaway that was clearly not for the two of us. My heart began to race as I realized that the future he had so proudly promised was not exclusively ours. It had been divided, reserved for a secret love that I never knew existed. I spent the rest of that day in a daze, rereading the email confirmation over and over, trying to reconcile the image of the man I loved with the betrayal that now unfolded before me. Every promise he had made about our future, the vacations we planned, the shared dreams of a family, the quiet reassurances of forever, now seemed tainted by the evidence of his secret reservation. I felt as if the foundation of our life together had crumbled beneath me, and I was left with shards of broken promises piercing my heart. That night, as I lay awake in our bed, the silence around me felt oppressive, each minute stretching into an eternity of pain and disbelief. I replayed every moment in my mind, every late night he had brushed off with vague excuses, every time he had hesitated before answering his phone, every whispered "I love you" that I now suspected might have been a lie. I questioned how I could have been so blind, so entirely sure that our future was ours to share. The more I thought about it, the more the truth became undeniable. While I had been building a life together with him, he had been busy carving out a secret space, a hidden world meant for a love that was not mine. In the days that followed, I turned to my closest friends, desperate for someone to confirm the painful reality I was facing. Over quiet dinners and long, tearful conversations, I recounted every detail: the discovery of the email, the confirmation of the reservation, the gnawing feeling that something was horribly amiss. Their sympathetic eyes and comforting words did little to ease the overwhelming sense of betrayal that now saturated my every thought. "You deserve the truth," one friend told me, her voice soft yet insistent. "You deserve a future where you're loved wholly, without secrets." Her words resonated deep within me, sparking a determination that I had thought was long lost. Fueled by that resolve, I began to meticulously gather every shred of evidence. I combed through his emails and messages, looking for any sign that this secret reservation was part of a larger pattern of deception. I created a digital folder on my laptop labeled Truth, where I saved every relevant piece of correspondence and every document that confirmed the existence of his hidden weekend getaway. Each new discovery was a dagger to my heart, but it also fortified my resolve to face the truth head-on and reclaim my future. I spent long nights poring over the evidence, my mind a swirling vortex of memories and painful realizations. I recalled every time he had mentioned space or time for myself and wondered if those were not just the needs of a busy man, but subtle hints of the secret life he was leading. I reread old conversations, searching for clues that I had missed, and every now and then, a particular phrase or a hesitant pause would flash in my mind, confirming what I had already discovered. The betrayal was not an isolated incident, it was a carefully orchestrated double life, a hidden love reserved for a weekend that was meant to be ours, but was now his alone. The moment of confrontation loomed closer each day, a heavy inevitability that I both dreaded and knew was necessary. I rehearsed my words in the solitude of my room, standing in front of the mirror until my voice, though trembling with sorrow, grew steady and resolute. I trusted you with everything, I practiced, and I believed in every promise you made about our future. Now I see that our dreams were built on lies. Each word became a mantra, a promise to myself that I would no longer let betrayal define my worth. I resolved that I would confront him not in a burst of uncontrolled emotion, but with the clear, unwavering truth that I had painstakingly gathered. The day finally came on a chilly, overcast afternoon, when the clouds hung low and the world outside seemed muted by a pervasive sadness. I sat in our living room, the folder of evidence clutched tightly in my hands, my heart pounding with a mix of dread and determination. Every minute felt like an eternity as I waited for him to return from what he had once again called a late meeting. When the door finally opened and he stepped inside, his face wore the same calm mask he had always worn, a mask that now struck me as painfully rehearsed. I took a deep breath, summoning the strength that had been slowly rebuilding inside me, and said, "We need to talk." He looked at me, his eyes flickering with a hint of surprise and something I couldn't quite decipher, fear perhaps or guilt. I motioned for him to sit, and then I placed the folder on the coffee table between us. "I found this," I said softly, my voice trembling but resolute, "and I need you to explain. How can you promise me a future together when you're secretly building one for someone else?" I opened the folder and began to reveal the evidence. The email confirmation for the hidden reservation, the detailed dates and times, the unmistakable proof of a life that was meant for a hidden love. Each piece of evidence was a blow, and with every word I spoke, I saw the color drain from his face, saw him shrink into a silence that spoke volumes. He tried to offer explanations, vague references to work stress, feeble claims that it was nothing serious, but every excuse crumbled before the undeniable truth laid bare on the table. The conversation was a painful collision of raw emotion and stark reality, a moment when every whispered "I love you" and every tender promise we had shared was exposed as a lie. My heart ached with the knowledge that the future I had envisioned, a future of shared dreams, mutual trust and unwavering love, was nothing more than an illusion. I demanded the truth, and when he couldn't provide it, I knew that I could no longer stay in a life built on deceit. In the aftermath of that heartbreaking confrontation, I withdrew into a solitude filled with both sorrow and a slowly emerging resolve. I spent days wandering through the empty rooms of our home, each one echoing with memories that now felt tainted by betrayal. I cried until the tears blurred my vision, mourning the future we had once promised to build together. But amid the sorrow, I began to discover a small, persistent strength, a resolve to reclaim my life and to rebuild my future on my own terms. I realized that while the betrayal had shattered the trust one once held sacred, it had also awakened a determination in me that I had never known. I sought solace in therapy, pouring my heart into sessions where a compassionate counselor helped me navigate the storm of emotions. In that safe space, I learned to process the overwhelming pain, to understand that while the scars of betrayal might never fully disappear, they could become symbols of my inner strength, a reminder that I was capable of rising from the ashes of broken promises. I began writing in my journal with a fervor that surprised me, each entry a cathartic release of the pain and a step toward healing. Slowly I started to see that the future I once believed in, built on a foundation of lies, was not the only possibility. I could rebuild, redefine my dreams, and forge a new path that honored my worth and my right to be loved honestly. Publicly, the unraveling of our once happy life became a quiet undercurrent among friends and family. Whispers of sympathy, gentle words of encouragement, and supportive glances accompanied me as I navigated this painful journey. I began to share fragments of my story on a personal blog, writing candidly about the betrayal, the heart-wrenching confrontation, and the slow, steady process of reclaiming my life. The response was overwhelming, a tapestry of messages from strangers and old friends who had faced similar betrayals and emerged stronger. Each note of support reinforced the truth that I was not alone, that my pain resonated with others, and that the path to healing, though difficult, was paved with hope. As the months turned into a year, I slowly rediscovered who I was before the betrayal, a woman with dreams, passions, and an unyielding capacity for love. I ventured back into the world of relationships cautiously, each new encounter approached with a blend of guarded optimism and the hard-won wisdom of my past. Every sincere smile, every kind word, began to mend the shattered pieces of my heart, slowly weaving together a future that was entirely my own. A future where trust was earned through honesty, and where every promise was a reflection of a love that was real. Now, as I sit in the soft, forgiving light of my modest apartment, a space I have lovingly transformed into a sanctuary of healing, I reflect on the long, winding journey that has brought me from the depths of betrayal to a place of quiet empowerment. The memory of that hidden key to a secret future, the evidence of a life built on deception, remains etched in my heart as a painful reminder of how fragile trust can be. Yet it is also a testament to the strength I discovered within myself, a strength that allowed me to confront the truth, reclaim my dignity, and build a future defined by honesty, respect, and self-worth. Every sunrise now is a promise of new beginnings, a chance to rewrite my story, to forge a destiny that is mine to create, and to embrace a life where my worth is celebrated rather than betrayed. I have learned that while betrayal may leave scars that never fully fade, those scars are not symbols of defeat but emblems of survival, a reminder that I have the power to rise above the pain and shape my own future. I now move forward with an unshakable conviction that I deserve a love built on trust and transparency. A future where every promise is honored with truth and every shared dream is a genuine testament to our commitment. This is my story, a journey of shattered illusions, deep heartbreak, and ultimately the triumphant reclamation of my life. I trusted him with everything, believed in every word of his promises, and built my future on the hope of a love that was true. But when I discovered that his blueprint for our shared life included secrets and hidden escapades, everything I believed in crumbled into bitter fragments. In that devastating moment, I found the strength to gather every piece of evidence, to confront the painful truth, and to reclaim my future from the ruins of deception. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of raw, unfiltered pain has led me to this point, a place of quiet strength and unyielding determination, where I now stand as a survivor, ready to build a future defined by truth, honesty, and the unbreakable promise that I am worthy of a love that is real. Every new day is an invitation to begin again, a chance to embrace the promise of tomorrow, to rewrite my story with the brilliant light of truth, and to build a future that is entirely my own. I am the architect of my destiny, and with every sunrise, I choose to live a life filled with genuine love, unwavering honesty, and the steadfast belief that I deserve nothing less than a future built on the unshakable foundation of trust.